last stage of putting the Filipino flag together. I've got the braces at the back with countersunk holes, a bit of wood glue, and I've tried out the salt technique. So you sprinkle a little bit of salt along with the wood glue that focuses, and that helps it grip into the wood when it's clamped down. Gives a much better, tighter connection, less gap, or tight, yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, let's give this a go. Okay, I've just reset the sign because this plate wasn't sitting as flush as I'd like it, and I had a gap. So I took it all apart and re-screwed it down, and I'm a lot happier with the way it is. Tomorrow I'm going to give it a couple of coats of the gloss finish. I'm going to start early, and I'm going to give 3 coats throughout the day. Give them 3 hours each to set, so it's going to be, well, 3, 6, 9 hours of that. So Sunday's Valentine's Day, it will all be ready. So now it's time for stage 1 of the process of the protective poly something or the other. So I'm just going to brush this on, do 1 coat, let it set for 3 hours, and then come back and do another coat and repeat that. So we've got 3 coats on over the course of 9 hours. So let's crack on with this. And here we've got a little bit of a problem. The blue is feeding through into the white, so we're going to have to do these with different brushes in sections. Oh, that's annoying. We're going to take a wet wipe. We're just going to try and wipe that blue bleed out carefully to correct this. It's not dried, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just be very careful so you get those crisp colours. I'm going to have to get right in that star there to try and get that blue. Okay, that's the first coat of the poly acrylic applied. I managed to rescue the white. Got that blue bleed mostly out, so I'm happy with that. Let's leave that to dry. 3 hours, we apply the new coat. Okay, so that's the first coat dried. See, it's got a nice shine to it now. Quite like that. Still a few little bits of wood. Right, let's give it another coat. Be the second coat out of 3, and then there's 3 hours in between for drying. It definitely does give it a nice shine. Quite like that. To make sure I don't get any dust caught underneath the polyacrylic though. But yeah, let's give it another coat. Alrighty guys, we've just finished the second coat of the polyacrylic, so we're going to let that dry and come back in 3 hours and see how it looks. Then we'll apply the third and final coat. Should have cleaned this up because I've got some very minor sawdust marks. Tried to get most of them off, which I think I have done, but oof, look at that red. That red really pops. When you're working with wood, you always get those natural imperfections, and I think it looks amazing. I think those colours really pop. That really helps with that polyacrylic and that water stained paint. Tell me what you think in the comments, but ultimately we need to get the third coat on before we finished it, so let's leave it for 3 hours, let it dry, and we'll come back to it. So here we are, we've got the second coat is fully dry now. It's a little rough to touch, but you can actually find by rubbing it just with a wet wipe, it's taken a lot of the roughness off, still maintaining a good shine. So I'm going to go over it, and then I'm going to do the final coat. So here we're applying the final coat. Dip the brush, get some excess off. Help the overall look by following the grain. You spread it nice, even coats. This is really going to make those colours pop. It's all finished. See it out in the sunlight. Stands out nicely.